This is a technical demo for a dynamic data sharing hub with consent flow for faster and more accurate patient recruitment in clinical trials. The main component to showcase in this presentation is a dynamic data sharing hub, a component that facilitates data collection, capture, and exchange under the rules and regulations of a decentralized data governance authority acting on behalf of the organizations and data subjects it serves. In this demonstration, a patient will delegate authority to a clinician acting on their behalf throughout the course of a primary clinical trial. The clinician subsequently has a direct relationship with the primary pharma sponsor, pharma company X, as data is entered on behalf of the patient during the course of the trial. Following the data entry process, Pharma X then requests the patient's consent to allow the data to be searchable for third-party use through criteria searches to a dynamic data sharing hub under the control of a data governance authority, a pharma consortium. In the final transaction, a third-party pharma company looking to recruit patients for a new clinical trial triggers a criteria search to the data sharing hub, which acts as a mediator between the patient and the third-party pharma company. Data access is only ever authorized following the patient's explicit consent at every stage of the data lifecycle. Here's the technical demonstration.
Here we have an example of the data sharing hub, which third party, let's say another pharmaceutical company represented by Adam Smith, he is authorized and authenticated to use the data sharing hub within the given consortium where the pharmaceutical company shared the data about the patient. The data sharing hub allows you to do different types of the criteria search to be able to find out what kind of information are available, and driven by consent and cryptographic verifiable credential, you are able to exchange those information and pull those information for your own purposes. So criteria search can be done in very complex way. We can ask for a specific criteria to figure it out if this kind of data are available there. Obviously, from the perspective of the consent-driven data sharing functionality, we are always informed if any of the records which is matching the criteria is not matching the consent which we are interested in. So in that case, we have consent number 1, which is not matching the consents of the records which are actually matching the criteria. But as soon as we will define our terms and conditions within the consent in a proper way, we'll be able to negotiate the proper conditions to be able to pull those information. Not only that we can query it based on the specific data, but the data sharing hub allows you to pull the data as well based on the metadata. Means that we can figure it out what kind of data are currently available within the data sharing hub based on the specific schemas which we will be interested in. So in that case, we will be interested in the immunization screening. The immunization screening have a specific attributes which maybe we will be interested in. So in that case, we, as an example, we take the patient birth date where we would like to define the range and look for those specific schemas which are available for pulling. In that situation, we see there's 2 records, consent is matching, but for the sake of the example, we will be interested only for the French records, and we can limit that further on, and we have our results. As soon as we have our results, we can request the consent for that data. If it's not granted automatically, in that situation, the consent will be sent directly to the subject to ask him or someone who is acting on his behalf to join or share the data for our purposes. From the perspective of the consent, we as a user of the data sharing hub, we can define our own consent, how we want to pull the data and for what purposes. We can create our conditions and the policy about how we will use the data, what will be the purpose, what will be the processing, what we'll do with the data, and if we'll be sharing it with the third parties or if the data will be located in a specific jurisdiction and so on. As soon as this is created, then we can use those consents to further on limit and automate the criteria search. As soon as we have the criteria search done and we ask for a specific consent, we can access the data directly. Here we have a brief information about what kind of available data sets we have within the data sharing hub, and information which we already have in our data store. If we go for the consents, as soon as we receive the consents, from the users, those which we ask for, we can pull the data directly to our semantic container or personal data store, or eventually access it through the unique URL, which allows you to pull the data and integrate that with your system through the RESTful API. And if you pull the data, you're ready to start working with the data within your system or within your research. And that's it, I think.
We hope you enjoyed this technical demonstration. Thank you.